Suspicions of laundering 460 million hryvnias and searches of the former head of the office of the President of Ukraine, Andriy Yermak, turned out to be just a prelude. The National Anti-Corruption Bureau of Ukraine has released a new batch of Mindich tapes which reveal the story of corrupt construction of the elite settlement dynasty in Kozin near Kiev, where the real owners of the country were hiding under code names. And the construction did not stop for a single day, even after February 2022 and during the tragedy in Bucha. Moreover, it was quite the opposite. In this video, there is a complete analysis of Mindich's tapes and correspondence, from illicit cash to a direct confession on the recordings about Andrey's house. In addition, this is a story about how Energoatom's corrupt money was turned into VIP residences and how personal control was exercised. CHE. Guevara, meaning Minister Chernyshov, and the connections of Carlson, meaning Timur Mindich, led to the very top. In general, in this episode, we'll discuss with you a new chapter of the high-profile Operation Midas case, which personally concerns Andriy Yermak. So, on the evening of May 11, NABU handed a notice of suspicion to the former head of the office of the President of Ukraine, Andriy Yermak. The message from the anti-corruption agency says the following, quote, "The National Anti-Corruption Bureau of Ukraine and specialists. The Anti-Corruption Prosecutor's Office uncovered an organized group involved in the laundering of 460 million hryvnias through elite construction projects near Kiev. One of its members, the former head of the office of the President of Ukraine, has been notified of suspicion. The case is classified under Part 3 of Article 209 of the Criminal Code of Ukraine, legalization of property obtained by criminal means." And right after that, NABU published a new batch from Operation Midas, which reveals details of the scandalous construction of the VIP residence called Dynasty. You have definitely heard about this, and here are the details. It turned out that to understand exactly how people close to President Zelensky built elite houses for themselves near Kiev with dirty money, you need to rewind. Время назад, в 2018 год. As stated in the NABU report, in 2018, Che Guevara, also known as former Deputy Prime Minister of Ukraine Oleksiy Chernyshov, became one of the founders of the company Bloom Development. In the summer of 2019, this very company purchased more than 4 hectares of land from the Kezin village council in the Kiev region, which became the foundation for the future construction of these VIP residences. In November of the same year, Che Guevara was appointed head of the Kiev Regional State Administration. Already in 2020, Volodymyr Zelensky appoints Chernyshov as the Minister for Communities and Territories Development, and it is during this period that the concept of building private residences on the lands in Kozin is born. The total cost of just the land under the future residence is over $6 million. Already in June 2020, the Dynasty project brings in Carlson, that is Timur Mindich.
Good afternoon, Timur. My name is Igor. Alexei gave me your contact for further cooperation regarding the house design in Kozin. We have a meeting with you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Could you give me the address or the geolocation of our meeting place? Thank you. Good afternoon. Did you meet with Timur? I can't on Wednesday because I'm leaving that night.
How was the meeting? Is everything okay? The second participant can't attend today, so we'll start Monday.
About the meeting with Timur, we probably can't adapt the standard house. There are too many requests for the number of rooms and functional areas.
And this is where we see the very same head of the office of the President of Ukraine, Andriy Yermak, surface. As stated by the National Anti-Corruption Bureau, in June 2020, a participant with the codename R2 joined the Dynasty project. According to NABU investigators, R2 is actually Andriy Yermak himself. And NABU even showed what Andriy Yermak's residence would look like, and it has been proven that he discussed this particular project with the designer who participated in the construction of these very residences, Dynasty. And then the participants in the project agreed to build 4 private residences for themselves to live in. To hide the real owners, the construction expenses were labeled with codes R4, R3, R2 for Andrei Yermak and R1. Who is under the first number is still an open question. Later, they decided to build a fifth residence and called it R0. The estimated cost of one residence was about $2 million. In June 2021, construction kicked into high gear. And then NABU explained what exactly Andrei Yermak was served a notice of suspicion for on the evening of May 11. As it turned out, the financing of the construction was a scheme for legalizing illicit cash. The construction financing scheme was carried out according to the following model. As the participants called it, Form 1 is legitimate financing through a number of shell companies that supposedly ordered some services, and in this way they paid 10% of the cost of these residences. And Form 2 is dirty cash. According to NABU, the money was handed over to the workers through Che Guevara's personal assistant in another Kyiv office. Another part of the cash was received by a person from Carlson's inner circle. This cash was laundered through various schemes and invested in construction.
Good morning, Ihor. 120 on R3, 180,000.
Okay.
Hi, 160,000 on R3.
Wow.
R3 is 250,000. I talked to Timur. He knows that the amount will go up. Our volumes are increasing and the season is short.
Alexei Mikhailovich, good afternoon. R2BM called, who immediately handed the phone to R3. Briefly, R3 expressed the following thoughts. Our structure works on the project under the direction and instructions of investor R4. All reports can be prepared and handed over to other parties only at the instruction of R4 in whatever form he sees fit to request. Seryoja, my dear, I understood everything after our meeting. I want our position to be clear as well. As someone directly connected to R2 and vested with the appropriate authority by him, as you have known from the very beginning, I want not only to keep track of how the money allocated for the construction of R2 is being spent, but also to participate in approvals, including tender procedures, the cost of purchasing materials and equipment, as well as to audit the work completion certificates. That is the list we agreed upon in the draft memorandum. I think this is a completely reasonable desire for a client who is paying for everything with his own money.
And now comes the harshest truth about this scheme. After February 2022, when the full-scale invasion of Ukraine by the Russian Federation began, the construction did not stop. On the contrary, it accelerated. Che Guevara, that is Chernyshov, demanded that people work in several shifts, and that's when our corrupt officials started to crumble. The problem is that because of the speed, it became obvious that the scale of the construction did not match their official income. And that's why, in 2024, the participants in this scheme started buying documents supposedly confirming the legality of the money. Next, there's another excerpt from the NABU investigation, but keep in mind that, according to the investigation, R2 is Andrei Yermak.
Hello, my favorite client, and I need to negotiate the percentage for cashing out. I drafted a letter. Please take a look and correct it if necessary.
And here's where it gets really interesting. According to NABU, in July 2025, after Che Guevara, that is Chernyshov, was served a notice of suspicion, Carlson, meaning Timur Mindich, decided to freeze the construction until better times, because he sensed that the National Anti-Corruption Bureau was closing in on them.
So are we supposed to just suspect this, right?
Well, I think we do suspect it. How so? Come on, show me what it's like inside. But that's in due course, that's not us, that's just my advice.
This is Andre, what are we doing?
He said to do it, yes.
No, I'm doing it urgently because of the terrace. I'm rushing before winter. Don't you get it? I'll finish now.
Why?
I'm not sure, I don't feel it, but I thought you'd figure it out. So how? What for?
How do I figure it out? Do I have to do it this way now? I think it'll be fine.
I'll tell you. I'll read it to you.
They did it. This house is ready. This one is ready. It has all the utilities and systems inside. Air conditioning, ventilation, and heated floors. This first house is fully loaded, and the fourth one too.
Andre just lacked this facade. You don't even have text. This isn't an award ceremony. We need to hold out for about a month until September before it gets cold and do this quickly.
Your budget is 400,000 before it gets cold, right? You need to get 400,000 before then.
No, if you include the utilities, then it's $1,300 million.
And the whole climax of this story is the searches and the serving of a notice of suspicion on Andrei Yermak on the evening of May 11. Why is that? According to NABU and SAPO, from 2021 to 2025, almost $9 million were laundered, which is the same 460 million hryvnias that were allocated for construction, the construction of those dynasty residences. The funds came from the criminal organization of Carlson, that is, Timur Mindich, including from corruption schemes in Energoatom, where at that time there were people connected to Chernyshev. After the media exposure, the participants tried to have the land released from seizure, but the HACC froze all 5 properties, and it was in this case that searches were conducted at Andrei Yermak's place in November 2025, and it was right after these searches. After that, he mysteriously resigned from the president's office, and Zelensky said that it was their personal matter, so he signed the resignation. Now, Yermak has been formally named a suspect under Part 3 of Article 209 of the Criminal Code of Ukraine, which means money laundering.